Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor to rise in this House this evening to speak in support of one of the most important pieces of legislation that has ever come to this House. This is the second time that the NDP has brought this bill forward, and I am incredibly proud to support the work of my friend and colleague, the member from Abitibi Bay James, Nunavik EU. If the Government of Canada were to implement the principles set forth in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, we would see a sea change in the relationship between Canada and the First Peoples of this land. We would be living in a new era of respect and dignity for Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples alike, as defined by the nation-to-nation relationship that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples deserve. It is shameful and telling that Canada was one of the last state parties to become a signatory on the UNDRIP. It took 3 years of constant pressure to get Canada to sign. Those who were there described the tactics that our government used to try and neuter some of the articles in the Declaration. In particular, the government attempted to erase Article 11, Section 2, under which Indigenous peoples have the right to free, prior, and informed consent in matters which affect their land, well-being, and culture. I will return to this point a bit later in my speech, Mr. Speaker, because it is so illustrative of exactly why the Conservatives' government relationship to Indigenous peoples in Canada is so damaged. The UN Declaration is a document of power. In the hands of Indigenous peoples, it's a tool and an instrument. Canada's First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples are using it to combat the legacy of colonial violence they have inherited.